is now time for a change. Welcome back to Where Saints Talk with myself, Luke, and today we've got Alex, Nick, and Joe. Oh, what a frustrating time to be a Saints fan, eh, boys? Right, we'll start with you, Joe. Let's start with the games themselves. But two back-to-back losses starting at Bristol City.
Yeah, I went on Tuesday night, and when we went 1-0 up, I actually thought, oh, we might actually kick on and win this. And then 4 minutes later, it all came crashing down around me. And I think Nathan Wood got a hat trick of assists for all three of their goals. I don't know what McCarthy was trying to do with that mannequin challenge as well for their second, but it was just a bad day at the office. And then yesterday wasn't much better. It was just same mistakes, same weak performance yet again. And it's not the first time this has happened this season, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that's the issue now, isn't it? It's too many games, and especially when it's two on the bounce like that against. No disrespect to Bristol City or Blackburn, but you look at that on paper, you think that's two winnable games. So to not come away from that week with anything is disappointing, isn't it, Alex? I mean, it says a lot about the players' attitude, especially against Blackburn. You score first, you take the lead. Suddenly there's an equaliser, and it all goes pear-shaped.
Yeah, or just awful. It was, I think, across the two games, we had about 30 minutes of kind of dominance where I thought we were doing well. And that was the 30 minutes against Bristol City. And then as soon as one player makes a mistake, Nathan Wood, he does something rash, players' heads are gone. You can see the mentality continuing from last season. How there's so many players from last season still in the team is just unbelievable. And we spent 40 million, got rid of so many players, and still it's just this issue with mentality again. So there's some kind of block there, and I wouldn't put it down to Will Still. I'm sure we'll get onto that, but yeah, both games it was just disorganized. No one knew what they wanted to do. Yeah, just horrendous. Yeah.
I think that's the one thing as fans you want to see is effort and sort of just a little bit of will to try and perform. You're not always going to have the best players on the pitch. You're not always going to have a great game tactically, etc. But it's the character, isn't it, Nick? That's what's really frustrating at the moment with the players.
It really is, and I think we'll get onto it, but I think it really culminated with the Blackburn game. That was just so poor. I mean, every single game they've lost, you can point to the XG table and think, okay, take their chances. Another day, they play this game 10 times, maybe they win 7 of those. But I think Blackburn result is something that really just the players need to step up and look at themselves and say, yeah, we might be winning the XG table, but we didn't win on XG on that one, and we're 20th in the championship. Time to make some changes.
Yeah, I think so. We'll get on to some of the changes that might need to happen pretty soon. Let's go into a little bit more depth of the Blackburn game, Joe. What did go wrong? What for you watching the game? What precisely do you think went wrong with that game?
I think it's a mixture out of not really addressing the goalkeeper situation in the summer. We've come into this season with McCarthy and Bazunu, and neither of them have really done much, to be honest. They're both dodgy at saving what they're supposed to be doing, which is saving goals. I also feel that yesterday dodgy substitutions really hurt us. We brought off Leo Cienza, who was arguably probably our best player over the last 2 games, and we replaced him with Jack Stevens, who is a centre back, and then continued to play him in the left wing position. And it's like, it's all well and good bringing those subs, but you need to kind of alter your formation and try and help your players rather than just playing them randomly anywhere on the pitch. It was just bizarre.
Yeah. What does that show, Alex? Does that show a real concern from Will Still? Is he kind of losing any idea? Is he sort of just trying to throw anything and see what sticks?
Well, the idea of the sub was the right idea because we were getting overrun in midfield, and because it was Azaz and Charles in there, and yeah, it was getting completely overrun. But to take off Cienza to put Stevens on, it was ridiculous because Cienza was the only thing going forward for us. So yeah, it was a bit worrying about who came on, and obviously, it's so weird because Casper Yander and Flynn Nouns I think they fell ill the night or 2 nights before the game, so there wasn't time to get any other midfielders in the squad apart from academy player Cam Bragg. Why are they not prepared for the worst, and why aren't they bringing Matsuki and Aribo up with them and saying, well, if someone falls out of the squad, then they'll be ready to step in? So the planning is horrendous. So you got to have someone ready to step in as soon as something bad happens. You got to be expecting that with a football club, especially with the wages they're on as well. So yeah, that's real worry that they're not ready for that.
That's a really good point, Alex. Really good point, because it shows the lack of organisation even before the ball's even kicked. It shows that there is issues there, which I think is a big question at the moment that we need to obviously talk about. We'll start with you, Nick. Will Steele, for you, is it time for a change? He's had 12 games now and it's not like there's been any real hope. He's sitting in 20th. What needs to change?
Yeah, before the Blackburn game, I would have said, it's not on Will Still. The players need to step up. We're actually putting in good performances, but the performance against Blackburn was horrendous. And I also just want to quickly tack on what Alex just said. What time did Flynn Downs and Casper Yander indicate to Will Still they couldn't play? If it was anything before the morning or anything after the morning kickoff, how are we not making a call down to Joe Aribo, get on a train immediately, get up here and play, rather than playing Cam Bragg, who I think is 20 and didn't even have a squad number. He was running around with a shirt with no squad number on it. I mean, it was embarrassing, frankly. I mean, I feel for the kid because that's not a situation he should be put in, coming on in a toxic environment, down a goal against a team that's in the relegation zone. So, like Alex said, really poor management from Still. I think, yeah. I mean, if that's not the final nail in the coffin for most. I mean, it's the first nail in the coffin for me, but I think it'll be the final nail in the coffin for a lot of others.
Yeah. I think you're right, and that shows talking about a 20-year-old academy player running around with not even a squad number because he's not obviously not been allocated one. It really does show where the club is at, which is horrendous when you think a few months ago in the Premier League. We're talking as if this is a League Two game that you've had to bring up an academy player who's working in Tesco that we need to grab and quickly get on the pitch.
Luke, can I quickly mention something? Speaking on that, 5 years ago, November 6th, 2020, Southampton were top of the Premier League. Almost 5 years ago today. I'm just looking at the stop the count all caps tweet with the table and Southampton and top of the Premier League.
Oh God, yeah,
it's crazy.
What a drop off! Crazy. What do you think then, Joe? Is it time for Will to go? Is it Will out?
Thing is, I really wanted it to work for him because I feel like he did really well in the French league with Lens and I think it was, and there is a decent manager in there somewhere, but I also feel that the board haven't exactly really helped this season. I mean, Johannes Spores assured us that we were going out to get a world beater striker, and we chucked 7 million quid on Damien Downs, and he's done sweet F all since joining us. Excuse my temporary language. Yeah, I think the problems run deeper than just the manager. I think the problems are from the top down, and unfortunately, Will Still's just been kind of hung out to dry a little bit. However, the performances haven't been great, so I do feel it is maybe time to look to somewhere else. I just don't know how he comes back from those performances because, other than a couple, it's been pretty dire, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately when sometimes the buck does fall with the manager. Like you say, the owners. We spoke about them a couple of weeks back, a few podcasts ago, and obviously there's issues there. But unfortunately, the owners you can't just get rid of, can you? So it's going to be someone else that needs to make a change. What do you think, Alex? What's the situation? Yeah. Owners, managers, players. What do you think's the reason for this chaos?
Yeah, I was going to tag on that. Since Sport Republic came in 3 years ago, there's been 6 managers, and only Russell Martin has more than 2 league wins. So it can't be the manager. It can't be the manager's fault. I can't get behind sacking another one, because it's clearly not the manager's fault. That the problem is with Sport Republic. They won't go because Dragan Solak won't take a loss on his investment, because he won't get 100 million back from what he's put more in. But they are horrendous, just awful.
So what do you think? If you think that obviously the owners are to blame, are you going to stick with Will still and just kind of give this season whatever it is, or does it come to a point where, unfortunately, no matter what, the manager just have to go?
Yeah, I would stick with still, because I don't see us going up this season. I don't think we're good enough. The squad's just broken from last season. Spurs had a really bad transfer window. I think it's going to be. You look at Leeds; they had 2 seasons, and then they've gone up, and now they're competing well in the Premier League. I wouldn't. If I could get promoted this season, I would, but I just don't see who comes in for still at this point, really.
Yeah, that's
Carrick.
Sorry, Joe, what was that?
Michael Carrick, maybe.
It's another change of style, though.
Yeah.
How many changes of style can we handle? I mean, Hassan Hoodle to Martin, massive change of style. Martin to Jones, completely flipped the other direction. Even like a Martin squad to still. I mean, you talked about his success in the French league. He played counter-attacking football in the French league. We're a Premier League side coming down to the Championship, and we hire a counter-attacking football manager. I mean, this ownership group. Sorry, can I rant for just 2 minutes?
Yeah.
I mean, so one of the big selling points of Sport Republic is that we're a multi-club model right now, and we've been talking all season. We need a striker. Gastepe had a striker last season, Romulo, a really good one. He went to Leipzig for 25 million. You're telling me he couldn't have come to Saints for 15? I mean, he's scoring goals in the Bundesliga. Like, this is a guy who would absolutely fire us up the table, and he's over for RB Leipzig, and we're 20th in the Championship. So when is the multi-club model going to come good?
Do you think that means like down the pecking order, they're not one of the ones that they care about as much? Do you think that could be the reason, Alex? Do you think?
Well, I think they see us as the kind of gem of the 3, but I was going to say, I looked at Bournemouth today. Junior Krupi scored for them, and he scored 3 goals in 2 games. They've taken him from their sister club and put him in Bournemouth.
It shows it works.
But Sport Republic won't do that. They won't do that. So yeah, sorry to jump in, but
no. It's all it's chaos at the moment, and there's so much that I think it's rightly so. The fans are frustrated, which I think brings me on to the next thing. There was calls from the fans throughout the game, not fitting us to wear the shirt, which I think is also one of our tweets of the week, which we'll get into obviously at the end. But fans are frustrated. It's the owners are there just to look after the club for a short period of time. The fans are always going to stay. So it's the fans are important, aren't they, Joe? And they have a voice, and they need to say what they feel.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, given how rubbish it's been in the last couple of years, last season especially, our following home and away was second to none. I think we're a really passionate and caring fan base, and we just want to see our club do well. And I feel like this ownership group they've spent a lot of money on the niceties at the stadium, like they've upgraded all the stuff around it, but that's all well and good. But when you're fielding a team that in performances like that week in, week out, where does the buck really lie? And it's with the owners. So yeah, it's just all a bit chaotic at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Right, let's try and look positive. So the next game coming up with obviously Preston at home. It's if Will still is still in the building and still about, is this a must-win game? If you lose this one, Alex, does that mean? I know you said you backed him, but if he loses this one, do you think the owners will get rid of him?
I think they probably will, and that will probably be because it's at St Mary's. And you saw last time when under Russell Martin, they lost 5-0 at St Mary's to Spurs, and that night they shot the manager 5 minutes after the game. it was so toxic. Fans singing Martin out, and that was after he guided us back to the Premier League. So, what's it going to be like for a manager who's been here for 12 games? And yeah, it could be, if we don't start fast in that game, it could just get really toxic. So, I can see them going for it, but it would worry me because that's them blaming another manager, and that's them off the hook for another 6 months while they focus on a new manager. And it's just kind of guiding away from the bigger issue, I think.
Yeah, definitely. What's your prediction? And let's get into the predictions. What's your prediction for the Preston game? Do you think you're going to come away with 3 points?
Probably not. I'd say a draw. I think I've predicted us to win every game this season. So I can't say that this week. 1-1 I'll go for.
Okay. Nick, prediction, mate? Are we going to go with a win to save Will still?
Yeah, I mean Preston are in pretty good form, no? And I'm just looking at the table. They're top 10. I mean, relegation candidate versus a top 10 team, even though it's at home. It's tough to say. I mean, injuries are a problem too. We know Ross Stewart is out, but Shea Charles is looking like he might be set for an extended spell on the sidelines. Maybe Flynn Downs and Casper Yander can come back and kind of anchor the midfield that we thought was going to be one of the best in the championship. I'll go 1-1 as well, but I'm not feeling good about it.
Joe, are you going to make it three draws predicted, or what are you going to go for?
I'm really not confident. I think Preston are a real horrible team to play against, home or away. They just sit in a low block, and we really struggle. I think we're actually might. It pains me to say this, but I think we might actually probably lose. I'm going to go 2-1 Preston. I just can't see where any positivity is going to come from anywhere on that pitch, unfortunately.
Well, if Southampton score first, they will lose 3-1. So
Yeah.
if we go up 1-0, we will lose 3-1. So I think that's actually a pretty good prediction for my money.
I tried to spin it to a positive, but it's
Sorry.
the truth comes through. Right, we're on to this week's A to Z, and it is the letter D. So the letter D for Saints. We'll start with you, Nick. Who is your letter D for Southampton?
Yeah, so Ali Dio was sitting right there for me, which is fitting given the state the club are in. But no, I'm going to go. Perhaps he wasn't with us with the longest, but he was the last real striker that we have. I'm going to go with Danny Ings. I'm in his I think it would be the COVID season where he scored 20 goals, and that was one of the last times where Saints, you really went into any game thinking they could win. And it was such a large part because of him, because all he needed was a half chance and he would score. So I'll go with Danny Ings. He was a pleasure to watch. That knee side at Portsmouth, I will never forget.
Yeah, what a strike, especially at that level. He was he's one of them that guaranteed goals. What about you, Joe? What's your letter D, mate?
For my letter D, I chose our old stadium, the Dell. It's one of probably the last proper football stadium because it was right in the. It was like in the middle of like a housing estate. Actually, my university house wasn't far from it, so it was quite cool walking up there and seeing where it used to be. But yeah, just a proper old school stadium. Remind me a little bit of Luton's Kenilworth Road with like the stands, like with the black gardens and stuff. But yeah, really, really cool little stadium.
Yeah, lots of history there. Lots of history.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, let's end the show as we always do with Tweet of the Week. As we can imagine, it's not a positive one. I'll minus all the swear words from it. So it basically translates not fit to wear the shirt. And it's referencing to what I heard a lot around the stadium. It's for the fans' frustration. Alex, we'll throw it to you. If you were Will Steele right now, the players are where they are, confidence is down, etc. What's your plan with them? How are you going to motivate this squad to even just try a little harder?
God, it's so hard. Last week Matt Letizia went into training. I mean, what other motivation do you need than one of the greatest players to play for the club? Yeah, it's so difficult to know where they're going to improve or how. But I was thinking about if the fans are singing "You're not fit to wear the shirt" after the game, the only player to come out on social media and apologise was Leo Cienza, and he didn't need to apologise. He was the only player who was putting in a really good shift. So obviously players are human and that it's their job, that they don't have to apologise. But it's when you've got leaders in that team. Well, is there any leaders in that team? I want to see players coming out and taking accountability, but there isn't any.
Yeah, no, I think that's really, really good points. And yeah, if you're getting the big Lettice in there and that can't motivate you, I don't know what will. So yeah, obviously again, this is why Will still gets paid the money he does. We'll have to see whether he's given this week to change anything, and let's see if there's a reaction against Preston. And I think it could be a job that is, predicts the future of Will still. Whether if you win, I think he will stay, and if he loses, I think he is out the door. Oh, well, thank you, boys. I appreciate your time. Obviously, very frustrating week, but we keep pushing. That's what us fans do. Thank you, everybody, for watching at home. Please like and subscribe and get involved in the comments below. Rant, tell us all your frustrations. We're all in this together.